welcome. One and all, it is Saturday morning, so you know it's time for another live edition of the Extra Point. As you can see, we have a full house on deck. We got Tasha T. Sizzle rocking her 49er faithful. We got Mr. Michigan Mike in his Michigan garb back from hiatus this week. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest, Nashville's own Mr. Coop DeVille, Mr. Wayne Donaldson. How's it going today, everybody?
Yeah, you already know, baby. We ready today.
Oh, the turn up is real, Mike. Tasha, you ready? The man got his drinks. The man got his music.
I got intro music and all.
Right on. Now, y'all, we got a ton to get to today. It's going to be a football-heavy show. Hope you all got your May Jane's coffee and well, whatever you're going to be drinking this morning. We'll get to that as we go into the show. But before we get into any of that, first, a word from our sponsor.
We are sponsored by May Jane's Coffee. That's MAEJANES coffee.com. You can get your Colombian and your whiskey blend coffee. I don't know if it's blended with something special, but it's whiskey blended. Again, she sells t-shirts, she has mugs, and she has the syrups to flavor your coffees for those of you who enjoy that. So those who have those little Keurig cups, okay, buy the coffee you want because she doesn't have the Keurig cups. But can you buy the flavors from her to flavor your coffee? It's no excuse not to order anything from May Jane's Coffee. And again, thank you guys for your continued support of my lovely daughter. Order from MayJanesCoffee.com. MAEJANES coffee.com.
All right, and we are also brought to you by.
I was going to say, and people that do have the Keurigs, you can just get those reusable ones and then just put the coffee in there. Just saying. Got you. So Wolverine Comics, that's Wolverine_Comics TX. You can find us on Instagram. We got a couple of auctions right now that shows on that side. So go ahead, and I think I have one ending today in about 12 hours. And then another one in a couple of days. So go ahead and get your comics, or if you want to sell your comics, let me know.
All right. Hey, you know my position. Start every morning of your life with a cup of May Jane's coffee while you're flipping through a Wolverine comic, endorsed comic book, and your day will be A-OK. Now, let's bring the boxes up. So as you can see, we have a special guest in the house, and Mr. Coop DeVille, every first-time guest must sit in the hot seat and play a game that we like to call this or that. We'll give you two options. You can only pick one. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. First up, ranch or hot sauce?
All ranch all day.
Mike, you got a friend? Indeed. Yeah. The spirit animal. All right. That makes three of us, actually. All right. New York or L.A.?
Oh, L.A. I'm a Lakers fan.
All right, okay. All right, Vegas or Miami?
Oh, man, for real? So I got to choose between slot machines and big booties.
Oh,
give me slot machines.
Where do I log out here?
Right, he said, no, this is going to be good. He said slot machines. All right, private jet or private yacht?
Oh, private yacht all day.
All right. Okay, so he's sticking with the LA theme. All right. College Anthony Davis or college Jamal Mashburn?
Ooh,
come on now.
Mash was a beast, but AD college.
AD college. Okay, for those who don't know, he's a big University of Kentucky basketball fan. We do our research here at the Extra Point. Next up, college Ricky Waters or college Jerome Bettis?
Oh, Jerome Bettis, the beast, the buzz. Yes. I got to get him.
Okay, all right. And last but certainly not least, you can't come through here without answering the question. MJ or the King?
Oh, MJ, baby.
Oh, come on.
There you go.
Mike, how we log him out of here?
He knows.
Mike, can we log him out of here?
You got a smart one up here.
Wayne.
Hey.
You making friends already, Wayne. All right.
Hey, that's not taking nothing away from him. I'm just MJ.
There you go.
They just built different.
I'm gonna have to just let that roll because y'all know we can get into that and not be able to get out of it. All right. Speaking of not getting out of, y'all, just when you thought the Deshaun Watson saga was over on Monday, looks like it's just beginning. Let me get everybody caught up to where we are today. Now, on Monday, Judge Sue L. Robinson handed down a 6-game suspension for Deshaun Watson. 48 hours later, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell elected to appeal that decision. 48 hours ago, he elected to remove himself from the appeal process, and he basically selected New Jersey Attorney General, former New Jersey Attorney General Peter Harvey, to hear the appeal. And that's where we stand right now because no appeal date has been set, although the league wants to expedite this process. Coop DeVille, since you're the guest, you're up first. Do you agree with Goodell's decision to appeal the 6 games?
He's in a no-win situation right here. He clearly put that 72-hour provision in just so he could test the wind. He did that. Woo! Let me see how the wind's blowing.
Right.
And once media got the blowing back, 6 games not enough, this, that, and other. Clearly, in my opinion, I believe he's going to be playing week 1. He's going to do the Tom Brady thing and Ezekiel. He's going to challenge. And he's going to get a stay in court. So when you get a stay, you can play. Now,
so
what
you
he's doing,
playing
he's
week 1.
jeopardizing his money for next year doing that, though.
Right, they're right. That's playing a wicked game of chicken with the NFL if he decides to take that route. $1 million is a lot less than $46 million that they'll come
Exactly.
after. Now, with that being said, Coop, do you agree with 6 games? Do you feel like that was enough?
I think with him sitting out last season, 6 games is credible. This is just hard for me because in this situation, happy endings. I don't know if you should get punished for happy endings. I don't know.
Coming in hot this early in the morning.
I'm just saying, hey, think about it. If he didn't strong arm him, that's one thing. But hey, what up, Auntie? But I think he set out last season. I think he did his due. I think he's done his time. I think the 18 games last season, you give him 6 this season, I think he's done. What else do you want him to do? The what's her name? The lady Sizzle or whatever. She said it was not violent. He didn't seem to rape or anything. So I don't think he deserves 6 games. I think they should have moved on. Hey, he set out all last season. Let's go.
Tasha, you disagree, correct?
Hell yeah, I disagree.
Come on with it, T.
Hell yeah. At the time when he sat out last year, it was because I was one of the ones that said they lying. This didn't happen. But by the time this season got ready to roll through, you got 30 plus women out here talking about he did something I didn't like. Now, see, Wayne, I can say the stuff that I won't get as bashed as bad as you guys will saying this. And I say this every week. I do believe some of those women did want this to happen.
Amen.
Because we know how it is. Oh, girl, he a baller. I'm finna get with Deshaun Watson. I believe some of them wanted it to happen.
Yes.
But the whole point is at that moment, when you got, if it's 2 women, if it's one woman that says I didn't want it, then that's the problem. That is the problem because all it takes is one no. Because you can go back, you can read everything that's happened with the club, the massage parlor that he was using in Houston, where him and the woman had a back and forth about, yeah, I can get you what you need. And then she was basically putting her girls on Deshaun. And those are some of the girls that was like, no, this ain't what we wanted. Because one of the girls used to babysit the girlfriend. So that means that was an older lady. Because the girlfriend is like 24, 25.
Yes.
So Coopers need love too.
So, he just, hey.
Yes.
So he just out here just being freak nasty. Now, I don't know what your next line of question is, but when you ask Wayne about is the 6 games enough, Big Ben got 6 games in the beginning. And it got knocked down to 4. But the thing about Big Ben is he did the one thing that this judge or that the NFL is asking for Deshaun Watson to do, and that's to seek treatment. That is why Big
Right, that's
Ben's
a big
games.
part of the appeal.
That is why Big Ben's games got knocked down to 4. But also, I didn't see Big Ben showing really any remorse. I didn't, and Deshaun is not showing any remorse because really he don't think he did anything wrong. Now,
can I ask you a question? Where do you get treatment for happy endings?
I mean, because like here's to you, Mrs. Robinson said, he's a sexual predator because you don't go out and it wasn't about happy endings with him because he could have gone somewhere that got happy endings. We all know those places. He went with the intent to force his will on these women, whether they were going or not. Some of the girls was going, some of them wasn't. So
right, and a happy ending, both people need to be happy.
Right, you are in. Both of you all are consenting when it's a happy ending. He is a sexual predator. Just like
jump in and break this tie. Was 6 games enough?
Well, to the question, I think he was right to appeal it. I don't think 6 games was enough because it's not just like 2, 3, 5. Let's say I think 5 is fair for 6.
He in Tristan territory.
It was 23 counts, like
or more. They said
or more, right? You have the people that haven't come up yet either. So, I think it was. I think the NFL was right to appeal it for sure.
Now, Wayne, we're gonna come back around to you kind of clockwise. Are you surprised that Roger Goodell removed himself from hearing the appeal? Couldn't he get stung twice by going to an outsider, or do you think that this guy, Mr. Harvard, is in his back pocket?
Oh, yeah, you hit it on the head right there. He's definitely in his back pocket. And all along, Roger Goodell knew the process. He set up the process. He just wanted to remove himself from the front end. Mm-hmm. But he's going to come back with the 12 or 18 regardless.
Right.
And instead of him doing it on the front end, like he was the all King Grata, he just stepped back and said, I'm gonna push this other person up here and let them take the bashing first. And then now he's gonna come in like Captain Saber, like, hey, look at me, look at all this presidents I got.
Well, we do have that new picture of Deshaun too, so go ahead and post that one too.
You know what?
All right, let's see. What's Deshaun? Oh no, Mike. Oh. Deshaun Watson takes the field, ladies and gentlemen. Where the hell is my look? I don't need no May James today. I gotta hit my Coupe de Ville. Oh, on that one. Wow.
Uh-oh.
I gotta hit my Coupe de Ville on that one. Now, Mike, since you posted that, how many games do you feel like it will satisfy the public outcry and the NFL office?
I mean, honestly, 6 games, let's say 8 games. Okay, you might as well just do 2 full seasons. 2 full seasons, have y'all take care of it, call it good.
Tasha, you agree?
Well, I just want him to be made an example out of, because what you're doing, if you let him get off with these 6 games, you're setting a precedence. Because look, you still got Daniel Snyder coming up. So I think they're going to use, and I sent you this, I think they're going to use Deshaun as to say, okay, we get ready to start doing what we're supposed to be doing now. And I don't care if you like it or not, we get ready to start with Deshaun Watson. I think this may be a way for them to possibly try to get, Dan Snyder, because you see how they gave Stephen Ross basically a slap on the wrist. You finding a man who's worth $8 billion, 1.5 million, hell, that's pocket change. With that, you're only hurting the team. You're not hurting him, because the team is worth over $300 million.
Well, this is definitely something that I wish would have been over with. And I just wanted to explain what I meant to something that Mike said when initially this came out, and I had tweeted to a response to Mike that I was okay with the 6 games. The reason why I was okay with the 6 games is because a year that's a torn ACL. That's a dislocated elbow on a throwing arm. To me, that's not like, if he sits out a year, okay. Now, if they really want to make an example or use him as the face of the new NFL league, the face of remorse, suspend him indefinitely, let him apply for reinstatement in 3 years.
Yep.
That way, you miss a whole contract cycle. The guy's 26 years old. He'll be 27 next year, making $46 million. Probably team will still be in championship form, and he'll go ahead and move on like nothing ever happened. Cool. Do you think the 1 year that most people, pundits, fans that are calling for, is that kind of like to ease our moral conscience so we can go ahead and let this guy back on the field, or do you think he should really be made an example out of?
You're on mute. Yeah, we can't hear you.
You muted.
No. Okay, talk. We still can't hear you.
All right, we'll get that fixed for Coop.
Log out, and then log back in, Wayne. If you can't get it adjusted.
And while he does that, Tasha, go ahead and continue.
Okay, now what was the question again? I'm sorry, I was too busy trying to help Wayne.
Do you think that the 1 year, that the public sentiment for 1 year is basically to ease the moral conscience of the fans? Or because I really didn't feel like a year sent the message either. Like Mike said, 2 full years. Like, you got to make this sting for
right.
a
And that's what I'm
age.
along the lines of, you look how they did. What was his name? Harden? What's the guy that kept smoking the weed and he had to keep applying?
The guy from Seattle.
No, he played for the Cleveland gave him a chance. Whatever.
Yeah, it was Gordon. It was
Josh Gordon, and he had to apply to be reinstated. And what's the guy at UT? I can't think of his name, that killed the man in Miami with the hit and run. He had to reapply, and they let him back in the league, and he committed murder. But I just want him to be made, because I'm tired of people who get opportunities that other people are dying for. Getting
right. And the commenter said something that I want to touch on that really went back to what Mike said as well. He sat out last year because he didn't want to play in Houston anymore. And really, the Texans should have played him. If you're under contract with me and you give me my best chance to win, you're going to play. So the more that the facts came out on the case, I was like, man, like outraged. Like Mike has a wife. You have a daughter. I have a sister. We all have mothers. If they were one of the victims, I'm like, okay, if he's not going to be prosecuted, if he's not going to lose his job entirely, make it sting. Like make him lose out on plenty of time, especially more than just a season. Now JC Johnson says if no jail time, 6 games plus the year is enough. So we're right there in that wheelhouse.
It's Joe Shelton.
What's going on, Joe Shelton? Shouts out to Maplewood High. Mike, how do you see this thing ending? What do you think that the appeal will come about? You think they'll keep the 6 games? You think it'll be a year, indefinite? What?
No, I mean, I think it'll be more, but it'll delay the process. To where, I mean, honestly, I have to agree. I think he's probably gonna start. He'll play this season. That's the sad thing, and I don't necessarily agree with that. But I hope it is more. I hope that it is set as an example. And I think what we're looking at is 2 different sides too. Right now, we're looking at the solving for punishing Watson right now. But we also have to think like how dramatizing it is for those women as well. And I think you can't necessarily put that many games on there. Like that scars them for the rest of their life, you know? So it's like, man, like I'm not okay with that.
And with that was one of my biggest disappointments, and one of the reasons why I was okay with 6 games, because I was disappointed that they didn't just go ahead and continue with the witch hunt. If you apply enough pressure, if they would have elected not to settle, so all of them could have testified. The reason why there was only 4 that could have been brought before Judge Sue L. Robinson was because the rest of them were already under NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, from settling. So 20 of the women were excluded because they couldn't talk about it legally after signing the settlement document.
And that's the thing. Had he done what the Texans did, which was basically pay these women off early.
Right, and that's even more of a sign of guilt. The team and the player paid the lady off, and he gets 6 games. Like Damian Coulter says, if the NFL wanted to make an example, they should have came down on Robert Kraft. That's a whole nother boat.
Yeah,
but
that's what we talked about.
That's also different. Even though he was down there having sex with sex-trafficked girls, that was a consensual thing. Even though what he did was illegal, that sex or whatever, them pulling tongues, was a consensual thing. You didn't have anyone pressing charges against Bob Kraft, even though what he was doing was totally illegal.
Right. And it'll be interesting to see how this will turn around and affect the deal with Snyder, because he's had him and his organization at the Washington Commanders have had a long and storied history of mistreatment of women, and it seems to only be back page news. And I agree with the Facebook user. The commissioner works for the owners, so that's going to be a conflict of interest there. And besides, the only thing that'll make the owners rat out one of their own is if one of them is stealing money. That's the only thing that'll get one of them booted. I think that they'll protect themselves because they all have too much dirt on themselves.
You know what?
Would have been gone.
You know, we talked about this mid last year, talking about the holdout, or they're not playing, but about the players. I don't know how this works, but if the players, whoever is the president for the Players League or organization, kind of steps up and say, "Hey, this isn't right. Y'all aren't keeping these owners in check," and maybe that starts the lockout. I don't know. I mean, maybe the players get involved though.
Maybe it's fascinating to see, and it's unfortunate for all parties involved that this does have to drag out, because the ladies are still going to have to see this in the news every day. The Cleveland Browns aren't able to move on. Their fans aren't able to move on. Deshaun Watson isn't able to move on. There's really no winners in this at all. It's just like Damien said, it's a black eye on the shield, and it really just takes away from something that brings us so much joy with football just getting underway on Thursday night. I really wish that Goodell would have just went old school Goodell, put him on the commissioner's exempt list last year, keep him there indefinitely until something comes about with this. So we don't have this issue of, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? How many games? Do we appeal? Do we sue the league? He would have just been on the commissioner's exempt list and out of sight, out of mind until this whole thing was settled. But we shall see. Now, football was on last Thursday, the Hall of Fame game. Did anybody watch? What's going on, Shamika Nicole? Did anybody watch?
I did.
Yeah.
I was tuned in like it was the NFC Championship game to watch the Raiders and the Jaguars. Somebody pray for me. But it was good to have NFL football back. And as such, we will continue our countdown to kickoff as we do our division previews. And now we're going over to the NFC. We have the NFC West is what we're going to preview today. I know we got a lot of 49er faithful fans online. Now, there was a couple of tidbits that I found interesting about the NFC West last year. This was the only division in football where all four teams had a plus on their plus-minus scoring differential. All of them were in the green. That's something that you rarely see in college or pro, where every team is on the plus side. Also, it was a team that a division that had three playoff teams in a tightly contested race. People fail to realize just how close that race was because the Rams ultimately won the Super Bowl. But think about it. The Rams won the division at 12-5. Arizona was one game behind them at 11-6. San Fran, who met them in an epic NFC Championship game, was 10-6. Hell, even Seattle was 7-10 with Russell Wilson out most of the year. So it was a very competitive division. Are we in agreement? Because it's been a while since we talked about this division. Are we in agreement that the Rams are still the class of this division, Mike?
I mean, I can't speak for Tasha, but I'm going to go for the Rams, yeah.
They are. Tasha, you say what?
Remember, we were one tart dropped interception away from going to that Super Bowl. And if the Rams hadn't gone to that Super Bowl, nobody would be talking about them being the creme de la creme of the NFC West.
The creme de la creme of the NFC West. Now, 49er fans are checking in already. Heck no. Okay, well, we'll get to the 49ers in just a second. But, Mike, I want to start with you with the Rams, the defending champions. Now, my question to you, who is the most important piece, the most vital piece to a Rams repeat? Cooper Kupp or Aaron Donald?
I'm going to say Aaron Donald. Just in the fact that as long as their defense,
saying Aaron Donald,
as long as their defense stays strong, I honestly can't put too much on Stafford over there. I just don't believe in it. But as long as their defense is strong, I think they can stop the offensive scoring of, I mean, let's say Trey Lance is the deal for 49ers or Kyler Murray. So as long as the Rams defense is good, then I think they'll be first again.
Now, Matt Stafford will have a Ryan Tannehill type season. First of all, no shade at the Titans. You're all in Nashville. You should be ashamed of yourself. But do you think that's fair criticism, Mike? Matthew Stafford will have a Ryan Tannehill type season. I'm assuming he's saying 2021 Ryan Tannehill.
I guess technically it's fair, just because I could see that happening. However, Stafford also has a ring now, which Tannehill, we can't even say he's gotten close to. So,
wow. Okay. Wow. As we go on now, Tasha, me and you had a conversation about Arizona last week and about Kyler Murray's contract and the whole homework addendum that was placed in there and then taken out after the public outcry once the contract details were leaked. Tasha, they finished 11-6 and made the wild card last year. Do you think this year they'll take a leap forward or take a step back from that?
2 steps forward, I take 2 steps back.
Okay, Paul Abdul. So you're saying that they're going to take a step back?
Yeah, we're going to take a step back. First of all, because it's remember I told you, I said it's a dead cat on the line somewhere. If they're putting that in that clause, the boy is not doing something that he's not supposed to do. And somebody put this out there. If you go back and look at his numbers, when they had he likes to play Call of Duty. I think that's what it is. When they have whatever this big Call of Duty tournament is, his numbers decline.
That's true.
That's somebody they that's what they said. So I didn't go, but somebody was going to go back and check that or do what and actually post it. But they lost Chandler Jones. Captain America ain't never healthy. I mean, I think he's overhyped at this point in his career.
He's Anthony Davis at this point.
Yes, he's street clothes. And then you got of course we know Brandon Hopkins is out for the first 6 games. Then you got Hollywood out here doing 126 in the HOV lane.
He was late for practice.
It don't matter. It don't matter. So It's a lot of things to work, for them to start working through at this time for them to be, I think, back up. I think they're going to take a few steps back this season.
Mike, let's talk about the 49ers since we got 49er faithful all in here. Do you think they're making a mistake by moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo during this window of opportunity to be a championship team? Are you sold on Trey Baby?
I am actually. I think that's I think if anyone has a chance to beat the Rams at the top of the division, it's the 49ers. Just because mentally, I think transitioning from that from Jimmy G to Trey Lance is a smart move, not just physically or talent wise, but mentally. And what I think Arizona has is mental issues. Like they started off strong last season,
right?
And we knew that they're like, okay, is this the real deal? But then they showed their true colors, and they just like. It's not a sprint.
The true colors are more of how they ended the season than how they started. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. I think when you start strong and you finish weak, that shows you your mental game. And so I think Arizona is pretty weak. Seahawks, I mean, I don't really believe in what they're doing in the organization right now. So I think they might be last. But I think 49ers have a chance. It all depends on Trey Lance and if he steps up and is consistent, I would say.
What is your on a scale of 1 to 10? What is your confidence level that he can do that, Trey Lance?
I think it's a 7.
A 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in what he can do.
You know what?
Go ahead, Tasha. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm only inclined to agree with Mike on that number simply because our offensive line is not where it needs to be. When you're going to push basically telling the quarterback up front, this is your team this season. And our offensive line is not really where it's supposed to be. And even though I really think they need to go ahead and, get rid of Garoppolo, Cleveland may think about trying to do a little sign and trade with that as well, because you don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun. We don't really have a viable backup if you get rid of Garoppolo. That's the only thing. We got our what do you say?
Oh, we got Cliff Kingsbury shade coming in. Cardinals should have never hired a losing coach from Texas Tech.
It's always going to be shade there because we know why, obvious reasons. But, we got what I like to call our wide back. We re-signed him. Our running game was a little deficient last year, but we got, our running backs coming back. We don't really have a big name running back. I think they drafted one like maybe second or third round. And our defense is always top notch. You got Arik Armstead, you got Nick Bosa. So the defense is always going to be there. I'm more concerned about the offensive line this year. We got Kerry Kittle's brother George out there at tight end. The offensive line is what's scaring me, but I think LA is going to just have a downturn too because you already got the quarterback Stafford with the bad elbow, and they're comparing this to what you get when you're a pitcher. What is the elbow?
I can't think of the name of it. It'll come to me in just a second.
They're saying that, and then you got Van Jefferson who had knee surgery. The MVP of the Super Bowl before he tore his ACL is no longer there. So you're going to rely on Cooper Kupp. They just got a receiver, the guy from Chicago. He's not a big name.
Allen Robinson. I think Allen Robinson will be decent on the other side of Cooper Kupp.
He might, but then you lose a Von Miller, but they got Wagner to kind of replace a Von Miller. I'm not going to say the Rams are going to be slaw this year. They're going to be damn good, but of course, I'm going to give, for the first time, I'm actually going to say this with my chest. My 49ers are going to win this division because y'all know I call it like I see it. When I say, "Oh, my team going to be terrible this year," I always say it. But I'm saying it with
right. Mike is laughing at you.
I'm saying this with this diamond-studded 49er shirt on and this cap. We're gonna win this division this year.
I hope for. Honestly, because I don't have a favorite in this division, so I hope you're right. Just because I roll with you, and that's your fans.
The San Francisco 49ers.
However, if you say your weakness is the offensive line, and one of the Rams' strengths is their D line,
come on, Mike.
That's not going to be a good matchup right there.
But we don't know about our center. If the center's gonna retire, he's not there, but he hasn't said he's retired. He's not a holdout thing. You can get some. You can't block Aaron Donald. Let's just put that out there. Aaron Donald is not blockable. He's unstoppable. But I just have faith. We're gonna win this division. We just are.
Now you got a fan in Rigo. Shouts out to DJ Rigo. Hit him up. Hit him up for all your DJ needs. As a matter of fact, he said that's right. Bang bang Niner game. Now, welcome back, Coop DeVille.
Yes, sir. My bad.
No, we know you had to go refill that solo cup, but we're all right. All right. Now, we're talking about the NFC West. Now, Tasha says the 49ers are going to take the division this year. Do you agree?
Whoa. 49ers? With what? Like,
I will zap your ass right back up.
Right, Mike. I'm with you, Mike.
With Trey Lance at quarterback? How many touchdowns is he?
Trey Bay. Say it right.
Hey,
Trey Bay.
All I can say is don't put your weight on that guy. I'm not trusting him to come in that division and strike up anything. It's the Rams to lose.
Okay, so let me follow with you with another question then that we had. Did the 49ers, are they making a mistake getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo during this championship window? You just re-signed Deebo Samuel.
Oh, most definitely.
No.
He may not be Patrick Mahomes. He's a little bit. Garoppolo was a little better than Tannehill, but what he has around him.
Tannehill today.
Yeah, what he has around him, he had enough to get over the hump.
Nope.
No.
I agree with
Jimmy G's a Matt Ryan. Come on.
I totally agree.
Because I'm telling you guys now.
But what do you see in trade that makes you think he's going to be?
It's the upswing. You can't keep having what's supposed to be your starting quarterback sitting on the bench because you want to keep trotting a bomb out there. I can go back and
winning percentage speaks for itself.
I don't care. I do not trust Jimmy Garoppolo. When I was watching that NFC Championship after Tart dropped that interception, and at the end of the game, we had Garoppolo resting our chances on Garoppolo's shoulders to get us in scoring position. At that moment, I tweeted, "All hell, game's over." And what did he do? He Garoppolo. What did he do in the Super Bowl? A damn pass with his eyes closed. Like, I don't trust him. It's time to. If we're gonna lose, let's lose with some upswing. Don't lose because the quarterback is scared and he makes piss poor ass decisions.
But you may not even make it to the Super Bowl with Trey Lance. So what are you gonna do then?
You know, we don't know.
The point is, the reason why Tasha's saying that is because they have to move on from a quarterback that can't get it done. I'd rather see if Trey Lance can get it done and give him an option.
He got you to the Super Bowl. What you?
No, Jimmy G is a Matt Ryan. Jimmy G is a Matt Ryan.
So basically, like Rigo said, he's the new Tony Romo.
So much slander. Go ahead, Wayne.
The level of what you're trying to put your team on, your team is really not that dominant. So if Garoppolo got your team, pull up that defensive ranking. Debo Samuel can outplay any offensive player at this time. Pull it up, run the tape. It ain't gonna happen.
He ain't no King Henry.
He ain't gonna happen.
King Henry.
And he got you to the. You keep saying he got you to the Super Bowl. How do you get rid of the quarterback? He
didn't get it to the Super Bowl. That's why.
If your quarterback continues to get you there and don't get you over the hump, what do you do? What do you do? So you gonna turn into the Buffalo Bills? You gonna go 4 straight Super Bowls because your quarterback kept getting you to the Super Bowl?
Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Falcons did the same thing.
Thank you.
You gotta look at, there are not a lot of elevated quarterbacks in this league.
And
so
he's not elevated.
Trey Lance, he did not get an opportunity to play a full season. When he was in training camp last year, he did not get an opportunity to play with the number one offense. Hell, when he was in college, he only got to play one game because they shut down because he was at a Division II, and they wanted to get him out there so people could see him play a game.
Well, that's to prove our point that he's not ready.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
He is ready because he's gotten all the snaps with the first team. He's getting comfortable with everybody. He's practicing with everybody. They're putting him in there. Garoppolo is a bum, and he needs to be gone. Point blank.
49er fans, you're going to get what you asked for when that rookie get out there.
And that's going to be that NFC. That's going to be that NFC West championship. I'm not going to say NFC championship. I'm not going to push him that far, but we definitely going to win that NFC West.
Well, if you win the West, you got to win the championship because that's where the title is coming through the Rams. So if you win the West,
the title ain't coming through the Rams. That's what, again, Tommy John.
So who's the title coming to?
You got a quarterback that possibly needs Tommy John surgery on his elbow.
That's Tommy John. That's what it is.
You got your wide receiver.
You know what, Tasha? That's a great segue because Wayne asked a critical question that leads us to our next topic. He said, well, if it's not going through the Rams, who's the title coming through? Right here, baby. Right out here, Frisco, Texas, right out here at the Star, baby. That's where the title is coming through. It's coming through the Dallas Cowboys like it's supposed to do. That's where the title is coming through. And that's where we're going to go.
Post that picture, see what happens.
Wayne, take a swig of that for me, Wayne.
Yeah.
We are tired of that line.
No.
Let's go.
This is the year. This is the year.
Post that picture for me.
For the last 25.
Before we get into the Cowboys, because now I'm really about to take a swig of this goose. Y'all gonna have me drinking in the morning. Now, let's do the over/under game with the NFC and let you put your money where your mouth is. I went to VegasOdds.com, and this is the official sports book for the over/under for each team. And I want to get y'all yes or no's on some of these over/unders. Now, they have the Rams at 10.5 wins. Wayne, over or under?
Over.
I like that. Tasha?
Over.
Mike?
Let's keep it rolling.
Tasha, if the Rams win over 10, how many is your team gonna win?
That's where we're coming next. San Francisco, 9.5. Tasha, you go. 9.5.
We're going way over there because I can see us getting at least 12 to 13 this year.
With Trey, baby. Hey, I'm making a reel out of this, Mike. We want this out there forever. Mike, 9.5 games for the 49ers. Over or under?
I'll go over.
Well, I might not make a reel out of this then. Wayne, 9.5 games for the 49ers.
I give them 9 or 10.
So he's going over too. Okay, so we all in agreement there. So we all think they're a playoff team. All right, Arizona, 8.5 wins. Mike, you up first.
8.5 is pretty low. So I'm a bite. I'm gonna go under.
That's messed up, Mike. Y'all go respect Kyler Murray, non-studying ass. Tasha, 8.5 for Arizona.
I'm gonna give them over, but not by much. I'm gonna say maybe.
You gonna give them at least 9, at least a winning record. 8.5 is low for a team that went to the playoffs and won 11 games.
When did you look that up? Because I had it when I looked it up, it was 9.5.
Well,
I got 8.5.
That was probably pre-contract release because I looked this up last night.
Oh, okay.
Wayne, 8.5 for Arizona. Over or under?
It's got to be under because Hopkins is going to miss the first 6 to 8.
First 6.
All they're gonna have is AJ and Rondale Moore. They don't have a running game. Under 8.
Are you concerned with Mini Me? Are you concerned with the quarterback not doing his homework, the contract clause and all of that? Does that concern you going into this year?
I mean, I think it's the play calling, the coach. Everybody's catching up with that play calling, and it gets exposed on this level. So they're trying to dump it on Kyle, but they know who he is. He is who he is. He's 5'6", a little bit taller,
You know
a little
what?
bit taller than me. I mean, T, I ain't got no room to talk, but I'm just saying, if he's gonna be the quarterback, I think I could be the quarterback. I mean, I can't see over the line, and he can't either. So that's right.
Mike, last word on the NFC West. Oh, he shook his head. He's like, SMH is his last word on the NFC West. All right, so moving on to the team where everybody is going to have their eyes on. That's them boys. Now, y'all know I said earlier that Dak is going to win the MVP. I'm still with that. A drop, Mike? Really? A drop? The Cowboys led the league in scoring last year, and you going to post a drop, Mike?
Look at their wide receivers.
Well, that's true. That is true. And that's where we're going with this, Mike. Mike, I had a rough week as a Cowboys fan. I look up early this week, and wide receiver free agent addition, James Washington fractured his foot in practice. He probably didn't burn the Trayvon Diggs, but we'll get to that in a couple weeks. So now the Cowboys are down to CeeDee Lamb and friends. CeeDee Lamb and the Lambettes. Let me throw a couple of names out there to you as far as the wide receiver depth chart behind CeeDee Lamb. You have Michael Gallup, who's still recovering from ACL injury. He may not be ready till Thanksgiving. You have Noah Brown, and you have Mosi Tutupu, Craig Earl, bruh, man. Okay, so you all get the picture. Mike was even showing me earlier saying there was some white dude that burned Trayvon Diggs. And I said, well, Cooper Kupp is white. He said, no, a no-name white dude. And that's where we are. That's where we are.
No, what's his name? I don't even know his name. We got to give him a shout-out. Come on.
That's just, nobody knows it. It was Bo Weasley. That was his name. His name was Bo Weasley. Now, let's start with this. Mike, did the Cowboys make a mistake getting rid of Amari Cooper for a 5th-round pick?
Okay, so they've been making mistakes. How many years? 20. Anyway,
don't do that. Don't do that.
They made a mistake when they made a mistake most recently by re-signing Zeke to a major contract deal, which took away all their money. Which took away all his money. And he was over there eating cereal and popcorn. It caught up to him. Look, he can't even run anymore. Anyways. So now they're in a spot to where they don't have any more money. They can't keep up. They have this talented quarterback that they have no wide receivers for.
Right.
That's messed up. Now, Tasha, speaking of Ezekiel Elliott, now one would have to assume that the Cowboys will have to rely on the run game at least until the wide receivers are up and running and healthy. You're on a scale of 1 to 10, your confidence that Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard can carry the offense until they can get their full complement of receivers back.
Let's
Zero
separate.
and Zeke.
Let's separate.
Zero.
Let's separate Pollard and Zeke. Number 1.
Yes.
Zeke is about a 4. Belly shirt.
You got a belly ring. You said he had a belly ring.
Belly shirt. You look like Eric Dickerson with your belly.
Don't do that, Mike.
Don't make me find a picture because I will.
Belly shirt. No.
You know what?
No, you done cut up enough. We got enough out of you, Mike.
I don't have.
I got you.
confidence in the running game when it comes to Zeke. Now Pollard, yeah, but then and it's like if you run Pollard into the ground, then you're gonna have Zeke to be the backup to him. That's the way I look at it. And then you sit up here talking about Michael Gallup is recovering from an ACL and he may not be back to Thanksgiving. You got OBJ there, but like Mike said, you can't get OBJ because you gave all your money to Billy Shirt.
OBJ, aka ACL, and stop talking about that man's belly. He got a dad bod now because he's probably
have you seen,
you know what?
I got you. I got you.
To America's team. This is the disrespect I'm talking about. This is the guy who's going to.
Have you seen OBJ since he tore his ACL?
Wow. Wayne, this is what I got to put up with every week.
That's a teleprompter.
And then you go and say a 0. Cool. Help me out here.
He's a rap. He's a rap, man. He's a rap. they ran him into the ground. I mean, it's their own fault.
Oh my God.
Their front line is in shambles.
That's true. That is true.
And it's really going to be drop back and throw 75 pounds.
I mean, I don't necessarily think they ran him into the ground, Wayne. I think it's all self-inflicted. He came in there. He's not taking it serious. He's out of shape. He's not dedicated to what he's supposed to be as a running back. I don't think.
Well, when he got paid, he did just fall off. He gave up. Mm-hmm. He checked out. Yeah, he checked out.
He jumped the line and messed up the whole ecosystem with the Cowboys contract situation, which led to Dak holding out and getting more money than he probably deserved at the time. Which it just messed up everybody's money. So, but still, you got 20
Jerry messed up everybody's money because he overpays for everybody.
Everything.
Yeah, it's
he loves his players. They're sons to him.
No. Because he want to be the GM. He want to be the. You so petty. You still ain't got Jimmy Johnson in that Cowboys ring, but he ain't gonna
be there because Jimmy Johnson wanted too much credit. That was Jerry's money. He signed Jimmy's check. And Jimmy Johnson ain't want a thing. He ain't even want a fist since he left Dallas. Jimmy Johnson's the Hall of Famer because of Jerry Jones. How about that? How about we put that out there? We put that out there. Now, cool. I'm about to go deep with you real quick because we're gonna talk some football right here. All right. Yeah. So when I think about CeeDee Lamb going into this year, I think of two teams and polar opposite scenarios. On one hand, and by CeeDee Lamb, I mean a young player that's being elevated because they got rid of a veteran star receiver. Two teams with different outcomes. One is Minnesota. They got rid of Stephon Diggs, shipped him off to Buffalo, but then they drafted Justin Jefferson. He rose to the occasion. And now they're flying high. They're fine. Adam Thielen got to stay number 2. Right. He rose to number 1, and they're not looking back. That was a comparable replacement. Then I look at Pittsburgh. How Juju Smith-Schuster was the young CeeDee Lamb when Antonio Brown was the star player. They moved Antonio Brown, and Juju could not quite live up to that number 1 billing, and now he's not even in Pittsburgh anymore. Right. With CeeDee Lamb going into this season, do you see his situation falling more into the Minnesota scenario or the Pittsburgh scenario?
Man, that's crucial because being that number 1 and they're rolling coverage over top it's a next level that everyone's not ready for.
Right.
See, when he was playing on that other side where it was mano, he was able to, get off. But now when everybody is setting every coverage up to you, they're shading outside linebackers, they're everything that you run, and he likes a lot of that cutting back and catching in the backfield. Now you're number 1. Now they're sitting on that.
Yeah. Mike, he's talking defense. I know he's talking your love language.
Hey, he's going to have to really raise his level, and he's thin-framed. So he's really got to break through because he's not going to have all those go routes.
Right.
And now it's going to be a safety over top. They're going to be 2D coverage. The nickel's going to be sitting in the flat. Like now he's going to have to figure out the coverages with Dak. See, he was just free-flying with those 3 receivers. See, now it's going to be a whole different ball game, and you're going to see quickly he's going to get frustrated, and I think he's going to start whining.
Oh, my gosh. You're making me – where's a cigarette?
I'm telling you, he's the guy that seems like he's going to be a whiner if he doesn't get the ball.
Yeah.
Wayne is totally right. Now, he weighing that 88, but he ain't the playmaker. The playmaker could take everything that was coming to him.
Yeah.
He could carry a team offense being the key wide receiver by himself. I don't think these new players, CeeDee Lamb, I don't think he's cut for that. He's a beast. He can catch. He can do everything else. But I don't know if CeeDee Lamb is. I think it's too much. It's gonna be too much pressure.
Mike, what do you think? You agree with them?
Yeah, I think that the Cowboys aren't. Their weakness is development from an organization standpoint, and so like all offense, defense, like they're not. Like you see it in the videos, they're working on one-on-ones with him. He is not going to get one-on-one coverage.
Right.
So if I were them practicing, I would be putting him every day on double coverage every day, and he's not getting that.
All of our tricks of the trade. We can't show them everything. We got to hold a little something back for Sunday Night Football.
No, stop it.
We saving something back. This was the number one scoring offense in the league last year with most of their parts back. Minus Amari, I don't play on the road. Cooper, but I'm just saying.
I'm gonna call that while I'm at work.
Natasha, CeeDee Lamb gonna be on both of their fantasy teams. I'm just gonna digress on that. Let's just.
They scored the most points because they was always down by 25. I mean, you have to score the most points.
There you go.
He's still on a rookie contract right now, right?
Button, Natasha, when you need it.
When does his rookie contract finish?
First quarter, you got to score some points.
Did he do 3 or 4 years?
4 years.
He's going to get the 4-5 as a first-round pick with the team option for year number 5. I think he has one more year left on this deal and a team option.
The Bengals going to get him.
No, he's going to stay at home because Jerry going to money whip that man. Now, we cannot disagree with his decision-making. You saw him snatch that phone on draft night away from his girlfriend.
There you go.
Man is he makes good decisions.
No, you mean the no longer girlfriend?
I was going to ask.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mike, you're being messy. Mike, with the messy. Nice. Okay. All right. So we're all in agreement that the Cowboys are going to win. Right. Pull up for Mike. All right. So now that we're all in agreement that the Cowboys are going to once again reign supreme in the NFC East and win the division, we can go ahead and move on to our next subject. I'm glad we're all in agreement there. That is going to be awesome. Now, I saw an interesting poll on ESPN.com that I want to get you all's thoughts on. What was the worst collapse of all time? Now, we got 3 candidates, and then you can fill in your own as an other. One was the 2016 Warriors versus the Cavaliers when King James erased a 3-1 lead and captured his 3rd NBA championship. We also have the Falcons' epic collapse in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady down there in H-Town, blew a 28-3 lead. And we have the 2004 Yankees, who blew a 3-0 lead to the Boston Red Sox in the ALDS. We also have another. Mike, do any of these fit the bill as the most notable collapse, the worst collapse of all time?
Yeah, I think all of these are good candidates. You know, for me being in the Dallas area, I got to give 2 out there. One, of course, being the Mavs and Miami being up 2-0. And I'm going to put this on the Dallas mayor, scheduling that parade already.
Yes, he did.
And everybody was like, no. And then sure enough, collapse. The second, I think, would be my strongest candidate, which would be, the Rangers. 2011 against the Cardinals being up 3-2, 1 out away from getting a World Series, and multiple times. Man, I'm going to say the Rangers one though, because that was just 1 out. You had the ball right there.
He did.
That was only
win the World Series.
And then he dropped it, and they ended up tying, going in extra innings. Josh Hamilton hit another 2-run home run in the 10th inning, and then we still messed up, and then they still came back and won.
Well, hell, if he wasn't doing coke at Sherlock's and
you know what?
We was there.
No, he's the one that hit the home run. Like, he did his job.
Oh, he thought it was an 8-ball. He didn't know that was a baseball.
Tasha, it's an 8-ball.
Tasha, what was the most epic collapse in your opinion? Are you agreeing with ESPN or do you have another?
I actually have 2.
Okay.
One of them benefited me is when the Lakers lost. When my Pistons came back on them.
Yeah.
Oh, in 2004. Okay.
And won that championship. I mean, you had Shaq, you had Kobe, they had R. Kelly Sr., mailman on there.
R. Kelly
Mailman.
Sr.
And but the main one, the one that really stood out, as soon as I read this, the first thing I thought about, them damn 92 Oilers.
Yes, that's the one I was wondering. Was
That's
anybody
the
gonna catch
one.
that one?
Yes, I was waiting.
Man,
That was I watched that live.
I did too, man. The Bills hung 38 on them. Came back was 35-3.
Yes.
38 on them and beat them like 41 to the.
Yeah, they beat him in overtime, 41-38.
Yeah, overtime. It was 38-41 or something like that in overtime. Look.
That should be number one.
That should be number one. It should be.
To this day, I still think, how in the hell
that run and shoot was running and shooting all in the snow. Warren Moon was hitting
with
Jeffries.
that was in Buffalo, man. Yeah, that's the one that sticks out the most to me.
Coupe de Ville, which one you got?
Hey, that was mine. That was embarrassing. That was just horrible. Like, I couldn't believe it. They scored 6 possessions in a row.
Yes.
I didn't even think you got 6 possessions in the second half. They literally scored every drive. It was crazy.
With ease, just moving the ball down the field.
Wasn't it with Frank Wright?
Yeah, and it wasn't even with Frank Reich. It wasn't even with Jim Kelly under center when they made that epic comeback.
We didn't even know he played football. I thought he worked at the bank. He came in the game. I thought he was down in
Kurt Warner.
I didn't know. Yeah,
right.
It was crazy.
Like, where was Chris Dishman when you needed him, Warren Moon?
Right.
Oh my God.
Right. And that led to the blow up of that team the next year. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring up that, since we're talking about Buffalo. In 1999, it was January the 5th, 2000, and it was 16 seconds left to go. We in downtown Nashville, and Mike Keith, the voice of the Titans, said it's going to take a miracle. Buffalo kicks the ball off to Frank Wycheck. He throws it back to Kevin Dyson, and Dyson, come on, Coop, you know what he did.
Hey, I was right there.
That technically wasn't a colossal collapse. That was just a great play.
No, y'all gonna let me get my Titans love off in here today.
I mean,
you ain't gonna have none of that.
Your love. It was just a great, because I was there, and because I was leaving, and then all of a sudden I heard, and I turned around and I just saw Kevin.
That's why you don't like the Titans now, because they put off that comeback when you left the building. Now, see, I knew the truth was gonna come out.
I was still in the stands. I was walking up the stand.
Well, that's a good call out though. Of the Miami Heat and the Spurs when he hit that corner shot.
Yes. Oh, that was an epic collapse too. Mr. Tim Duncan not on the court to get the offensive rebound, defensive rebound. Yeah, it's been some memorable collapses, especially in the playoffs. Now, we close every show with T Sizzle's top 5. But I want to set the stage for this one, because last weekend, the Dallas Cowboys, don't y'all be smiling. Last weekend, the Dallas Cowboys were once again named the most valuable franchise in all of sports. $27 million more than the second place Yankees. $27 million more. And as much as I wanted to be happy for Jerry Jones, it made me realize, well, damn, them fools ain't won a Super Bowl since 1995. We're working on 27 years. Coop, your kids ain't never seen the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
At all.
But that was the 95 season, and that Super Bowl was played in 96. So we have to adjust for inflation.
Okay.
Well, you can adjust for inflation all you want. And Kenny, man, don't you come on here trolling. What they got to show for? We about
money. That's it.
Man, y'all hard on the Cowboys today. I'm gonna have to go get me another bottle of this. All right. So that brings us to our top 5. The Cowboys have not been to the Super Bowl since 1995. T Sizzle's top 5 things that didn't exist the last time the Cowboys were in the big dance. The floor is yours. And be nice.
Dirt.
Dang.
You going to hell, Tasha.
She said dirt.
Seriously, the camera phone. Camera phone came out in 1999.
Wow. We didn't have camera phones back then. Wow. Okay.
Something that we use every day. Well, I do. Google. Google came out in 1998.
Wow.
Tickle Me Elmo. My daughter had the Tickle Me Elmo. That came out in 1990. Came out in
Came
came out in 1996. Last but not least, the only place that you can go back and see the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, YouTube. YouTube came out in 2005.
Wow. Mike, you got any to add since y'all piling on? They said Tupac and Biggie was still alive. Oh my God.
Yeah, I agree with the YouTube was a big one. Google's a big one. I have the iPhone. The first iPhone came out in 07. So that kind of revolutionized the whole smartphone game.
Right.
I have HD TVs, which makes sense because you can only watch it on VHS.
You telling me that Super Bowl against Pittsburgh wasn't in HD?
Yeah.
It was on the floor model.
Yeah.
With the
And then
back on it.
Yeah. Fall and the bunny ears.
and then I got the Nintendo 64 because I really like my Nintendo 64.
That wasn't out yet?
No.
Nuh-uh. That was like 96.
Oh.
Man, this ain't right, man. Let's hurry up. Coop, you got any that
Hey, since you said that, was we out? The Wii game? Yeah.
No, that was like 2000.
Hey, I didn't have any kids then, so hey, shout out to that.
Right, and they're about to go to college, aren't they?
Yeah. 2 weeks.
Oh my God. Oh, but you know what?
That's
Let's
a
hurry
long
up
time.
and move on to the shout outs. That was very, very depressing. But the thing is, we'll never be able to do this segment again because the Cowboys are going to get it together. Zeke is going to have a comeback year. Pollard is going to
Stop it. This is your intervention, Paul. This is your intervention.
No,
Paul.
We got your boy from Penn State. He's going to be
Paul, we love you so much, but this is an intervention right now.
Right. This story has already been, we've rehearsed this over and over.
So when you hear the people at the door, let them in.
Yeah.
You might as well be a Detroit Lion fan because it's the same
Dang.
thing.
Oh, snap.
No, he's a Cleveland fan because they have the talent. They just can't do nothing with it.
Mike, you don't get a shout out this week. Tasha, who you shouting out this week?
I have 2 shout outs. One shout out to Miss May Jane herself. She's on her way to see her favorite performer, who is Chris Brown, with her cousin. So safe travels to them. And one Mr.
Don't go to the after party. Don't go on no van to bus with him.
Oh yeah, we already know those, honey.
You come out looking like Martin after he fought Thomas the Hitman Hearns.
Why did your sister just send that to me last night? And my main shout out goes to one Mr. Elijah Fernandez again. He is a freshman at Dixon County High School, and he was elected as the freshman class president. So way to go.
Okay. Like his mama. All right. Mike, who you shouting out this week?
I want to shout out to my wife, Stacy, for carrying the little baby Jay. She said he started.
Right.
She felt him moving a couple days ago, so just shout out.
Must have been when she was watching Cowboys training camp, but keep going.
No. Moving on in a hurry.
Wayne, you got any shout outs?
Yeah. We gonna shout out to the West Nashville reunion today. West side up, baby.
Hey, make sure some of y'all post some pics. I mean, we grew up with all of y'all. That should be a fun occasion. And
also shout out to Bordeaux. That's my other home, Bordeaux.
See, that's how you say it. It's not Bordeaux.
No, it's Bordeaux.
It's Bordeaux.
Yeah,
that's how you say it,
baby.
That's
like
coming from
Buchanan.
Right. It's not Buchanan. It's
Yeah.
Buchanan. That's a real Nashvilleian there. I'm going to send a shout out to Coop DeVille for coming on the show. Blessing us, man. You are officially a friend of the show. The key is under the doormat. Come back anytime you want.
Man, I am ready.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I
think my wife sabotaged my laptop, but I'm going to talk about that later.
Hey, man, look, the key is to get the honeydew list done before the show.
Hey.
Look at Mike. He's like, yep. He gets the honeydew list done Friday night, and then you get your hour in the morning, and then you go right back to the honeydew list after we wrap tape.
I love it. I will be back.
And thank you, Mrs. Coop DeVille, for letting us borrow him for an hour. That was a blessing to the show. Shouts out to Jarrell Green. Follow him on TikTok too. He posts some great sports content as well. Thank you for the shout out. And y'all know how we get down. We'll be back for more football, family, and foolishness in about 6 days and 23 hours. Until then,
Yeah.
pull up. We'll see y'all.
Boy,
Jaeger,
Peace.
baby.
let it all fall out.
Where your bottle, Mike? There it is.
Turn it up. Turn up.